Fishermen, it seems, are catching fewer sharks and rays out on the open ocean. After years of mass destruction of the species to feed a growing demand for shark fin soup in Asia and a growing meat trade around the world, the number of animals caught has been going down for the last few years. The question remains, why? Is it because fishermen are managing the resource more sustainably, or is it because of a much more simple answer? Maybe there are fewer sharks and rays to catch. Lindsay Davidson is a PhD candidate in marine biodiversity at conservation at SFU. Hi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
What does your research show? Are there just fewer animals out there?
That's what we found. Our study was looking at, exactly like you said, what is causing this 20% decline in shark and ray catches since 2003. And we looked at overfishing. Are there fewer sharks and rays out there? Or is it something to do with this really great increase in the fisheries management that we've seen over the past 20 years? And we found that the decline is most likely due to overfishing.
There has been some gains made in sustainability, though. The UN has pointed to progress made in some of these countries, and I know a lot of pressure has been put on the shark finning industry as well. Does that play a small role, at least? It
does, yeah. So there's been a lot of great news stories. The study is a bit depressing, but I think we highlight some of the real successes that have happened over the last 20 years. Like you mentioned, finning management. So having fishers bring back the shark whole to port instead of just bringing back the fins has been a really great success. There's lots of room for improvement with some countries not having any of that management in place yet. There's these things called shark plans that have been around since 1999, and there's been a real emphasis for countries to implement one of these and to show how they're going to sustainably develop their shark and ray fisheries. And so there's been a lot of pressure on those and for countries to implement those, but I think we highlight that there's still room for each country to improve their shark and ray fisheries management.
What is the level of overfishing, and how concerned are scientists about populations of sharks and rays?
In a study that came out in 2014, they showed that a quarter of over 1,000 shark and ray species are threatened with elevated extinction risk. So there's a real concern for the extinction of sharks and ray species. And I think the study just highlights overfishing, again, is being one of the main drivers of the decline in sharks and ray populations across the globe. And this study highlights where we need to focus our efforts and what management measures are working.
Where do we need to focus our efforts?
It is a bit global. 140 countries are shark and ray fishing countries, so it's quite a lot of countries, and about 87 of these countries are reporting a decline. There's 5 countries in particular with massive declines, and so we talk about in the study how we need to focus on those countries and really help with the capacity building for sustainable shark and ray fisheries. We also talk about Canada, United States, and Australia having pretty good management relative to other countries, and how they can still have room for improvement, but can help other countries sustainably develop their shark and ray fisheries.
You were talking about success stories. Are there populations that are increasing or have been stabilized because of conservation efforts?
Yeah, there have, and that's one of the great success stories. Great white sharks in the United States have rebounded after some strict management on that population. There's a spiny dogfish as well in the east coast of the United States that there was a no catch for a couple years to allow that population to rebound, which it did. And so I think those case studies just highlight that it is possible to have a sustainable fisheries for sharks and rays. We just need to implement the management and then strictly enforce it.
Is it a case of specific overfishing for sharks and rays, or is it a case of overfishing and sharks and rays are just bycatch?
Yeah, so sharks and rays were traditionally a bycatch species. They would swim alongside tuna and would just be caught alongside the more valuable tuna. However, there was rising demand for fins, as you mentioned, for shark fin soup, but also for meat. And so they're less of a bycatch now. They're targeted, but the management just hasn't caught up to the amount that is being taken out of the oceans.
Well, it is a global story and a global population issue. I know it's not just specific to sharks and rays. We got to leave it there. I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming in. Lindsay Davidson is with SFU looking at shark and ray overfishing. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.